Hey everybody, this is Mitch Ferraro from F Street. I hope everyone's having a great day out there today. Super excited to have this conversation as always. Today I'm excited because I have one of our development associates on, Brian Gallagher. I love having Brian on. Brian and I, as you may have seen in some other episodes, we sit right next to each other. So we always have this nice banter going on every day. We've got a good chemistry, good camaraderie in the office. We basically bring the energy to the office every single day. And today I get to talk to him a lot about what's going on with our F Street 92 opportunity, which is 147 units that we're developing in West Allis, Wisconsin. I want to get him on today to talk about because we are basically done at raising the capital for this. I'm going to have Brian kind of talk a little bit about the deal itself, and we'll kind of go into the capital raise. But Brian, man, thank you so much for coming on today. Before we kind of dive into how the capital raise went, let's give people an overview again of what this deal is and why it is such a good deal and why we're so excited about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you, Mitch. I'm very excited to be here. I like to think the same thing, that me and you bring the energy, bring the juice to the office, or at least some of it. I would say our whole team has a chemistry with each other. So that's just one of the benefits of being here every day at F Street. And one thing I wanted to correct you on is that this is basically over. Now, the raise has gone really well. And that's for a lot of reasons that we'll dive into, but it's not over till it's over. We are very close to that finish line. We are within a week to a week and a half of our loan closing. And then that will be the effective date and the effective start of the investment. So a lot of effort in pre-development, and the equity raise has been put in so far, and we are very close to that finish line, but it's not over yet.
Yep, that's right.
But yeah, absolutely. So this deal, F Street 92 LLC, we are building 147 units of multifamily market rate Class A that will be known as the Access Apartments in West Allis, Wisconsin. We wanted to do a little play on the name of the city, West Allis, turn the L's kind of into each other and make it an X, and we came up with the Access Apartments. And this is really a project that has been over a year in the making for us, and we are taking a lot of lessons we've learned from previous developments and working with previous project partners, and we've put it into this new project, F Street 92 LLC. We're bringing back Greenfire Construction, who we've worked with before, Rinka Architecture, Harmonic Property Management. These are all very familiar project partners of F Street's if you have been following us for a little bit of time now. This, as I said, is 147 units of Class A multifamily. 42 of those units will be garden-style stacked flats. Those are going to start right after we close on that construction loan. Then we have another 105 units of mid-rise, so more of a traditional apartment building that will have all the amenities for the apartment complex, and that will get started in next spring. So call it March or April of 2026, and take a little over a year to complete. So we're really excited about this project, and let's dive in.
Yeah, man. So, as Brian said, we're super excited. Great opportunity, great project. So for this project, we're raising about $11.3 million. We're at about $10.3 million raised right now, about $1 million left to go. We are closing on the construction loan next week from the point of this podcast. And I think what's really cool is that, a lot of investors that are currently with us, they got into this opportunity. We've had other investors that are investing with us for the very first time getting in this opportunity. But I kind of wanted to talk about, just kind of the raise in general. I want to kind of give details of when we started the raise, where we're at today, maybe talk a little bit about how investors put their capital in versus self-directed IRAs and personally. So kind of dive into some of those details of what this raise has been like.
Yeah, absolutely. We started this raise right at the end of July, beginning of October. There's never one, call it, investment raise start date. We start having conversations in July, and then we really kicked it out to our entire group, did a kickoff webinar with Scott and some other roundtables with our team to really dive into the project, the nuts and the bolts, and different aspects of what makes it such a great project. And so I would say for the last, call it, 60 to 90 days, we have been full force with our equity raise. and also getting more things on the project side set in stone.
Yep.
And then everything comes together to this loan closing next week.
Yep.
And then, as you mentioned, $11.3 million. It doesn't come from one person, although it would be great if it did. We like bringing as many people together as we can to make these projects happen. We have investors that are coming in for $50,000. We have investors that are coming in for millions of dollars, and really everywhere in between. And that's where we can find success, is that we can find, call it some of the larger check writers that love the project, are interested in the project, want to place a big investment, but they alone don't generally get us across the finish line. It takes the self-directed IRAs with $50,000, $100,000 checks coming in. And I think on this deal alone, we've worked with 5 different self-directed IRA custodians, equity trust, digital trust, directed IRA, just 3 of them. And there's some that are not coming to my mind here. So we've really helped place a lot of investments into this deal using some different strategies, whether that's having investors come in through their trusts or LLCs or just personally. And then self-directed IRAs are a really big tool for our investors as well. And a lot of different aspects of what me and you do every day have gone into this. And again, we're always trying to improve our process. And I think this F Street 92 raise, why we've been able to raise 10.3 and soon $11.3 million with, I don't want to say it was easy, but with ease, is because of some of these strategies we've put into place. And so,
as Brian had said, we started the raise about end of July, then we went to about all the way through end of October here into November, 60 to 90 days. I mean, it's a huge testament to our team to be able to raise $11.3 million in that time frame. Again, not just coming from one investor. I think we've got maybe about 40, 50 investors.
It's more than that. It's about 70.
Yeah, about 70 investors inside of this deal. Again, coming from the $50,000 investor up to $1 million investors and everything else in between. And one thing that I really like too about this is, and we're starting to do more of, is our investors that might be in the private debt fund, our 10% annual interest fund, we're allowing them to come into these equity deals, even if they're less than a year hold in the private debt fund. So I think we were able to raise a couple $1 million just from investors taking money that they have in the private debt fund and moving it over to the equity deals, which is just another avenue that we try to generate for our investors to say, hey, maybe you want to give us a shot for the first time in an equity deal and take some of your money that's in the debt fund. Maybe you've gained some respect for us and know that we're providing you that interest payment every single month in the private debt fund. And now you're saying, hey, I want to give you guys a shot on the equity side because you're trusting us as an operator. So that's been really cool to kind of work with investors in all these different aspects. I want to just kind of talk a little bit about, this deal specifically again on why it is such a good deal. And I want to talk about the TIF, the tax incremental financing, because at the end of the day, this is what really helps make this deal work. So I want you to just tell us a little bit about the TIF and the tax incremental financing and the partnership that we have with West Allis in the TIF.
Yeah, absolutely. So the partnership with the city of West Allis really dates back to when we first got control of the site. The city of West Allis was instrumental in helping us gain control of the site, and then also the previous structures on the property. There was a church that had been abandoned for several years and was past its structural life and use, as well as some of the ancillary buildings on that site. And the city provided us a $1 million loan to demolish these buildings. So that doesn't necessarily directly impact investors, but it does because generally demolition costs of previous structures and site preparation costs, the less those flow through to investors, the less the cost to build the project is, which then makes our yield better at the end of the day. So the city of West Allis was instrumental there. And then now we are finalized with our tax incremental financing with the city of West Allis. We have a 24-year term for 100% of the increment. So what does that mean? So where the property is getting taxed at today, that's our base level tax value. Now this was a church previously, so the base level is actually 0. Makes this a really easy conceptually to understand. For the next 24 years, any tax increase we make is going to get rebated to us. Now, why does the city of West Allis do this? Because without this project wouldn't be possible. it would theoretically still be profitable, but not enough to cover the risk of real estate development, to cover the risk of construction and lease up and interest rates.
Yep.
With those, call it factors, you need to have a yield and a return at the end of the day that is appealing to investors.
Yep.
So that's really what helps bridge the gap. So if we didn't have a tax incremental financing, our real estate tax bill would be, call it $550,000 a year. I don't have $550,000 to pay the city of West Allis, and I don't think you do either, Mitch. And so really what this abatement does is it's $550,000 annually that doesn't get charged to the property, that increases our net operating income, which in turn is going to increase our valuation and increase our yield to the investors. So this tax incremental financing, you've heard us talk about it before. We are going to talk about it again on future development projects. It is a instrumental piece in allowing these projects to happen. And we just want to thank the city of West Allis for being a project partner, from gaining control of the site to the demolition loan to the tax incremental financing. And they're very pro-business, pro-development, pro-growth area. And those are the municipalities we're trying to work with.
Yeah. And so again, West Allis is thinking very long-term, right? So they're going to give us this TIF for 24 years, basically rebating the taxes. But after that 24 years, now this asset is going to produce taxes for them every year. Also, what's really cool is that as we're developing that project, we're going to be raising the value of the properties around that, which would allow West Allis to raise the property taxes on those other areas, which allows them to generate more revenue overall, period. So, I mean, it's just a really good partnership where we're coming in, we're developing a really nice asset for them. It's going to be something that they can use long-term to generate revenue. And it's something that we can provide investors a good return because we're getting those rebates right away. And what's also really nice is that when we go to sell that asset at some point in time in the future, those rebates, that tax incremental financing is going to be able to go to the buyer of that property. So it's just a really nice selling tool when we're going to sell that asset off.
And that's a really good point, Mitch. I just want to jump in here. I always tell investors that the tax incremental financing has 3 direct benefits on the project. First, our actual operating cash flow is going to be higher because we have less expenses. Real estate taxes are generally your number one expense line item. So that's number one. Number two, for our construction loan and then also our eventual refinance loan, we generally get better loan terms when we have a tax incremental financing in place. So that's our second benefit. The third benefit, as you just mentioned, when we go to sell the property, if there's 20 years, if there's 18 years, 15 years left on that TIF, it's going to improve the valuation of the property versus if it didn't have it, because it does flow through to the next owner. So this is not an incentive tool that has just one impact. It impacts a lot of different things that enhances yield for the investors.
And that's a general thesis that we use for all of our development deals. Like if we're not getting the tax incremental financing from these municipalities that are pro-growth, we're not doing a development deal in that municipality. So we have other things in the pipeline right now that we're going through to try to do that in different municipalities. Things are going very, very well. We hope to have some awesome news for you guys in the future about these next development deals that we're doing. But it is a great, great feature that helps us pencil these deals to make sure you as the investor can get good returns on these development deals. Brian, before we get out of here, I just want to quickly talk. We've got $1 million left to raise, right? We are closing on the construction loan next week. What happens if we don't raise the $1 million by next week when the construction loan goes through?
It's a great question, Mitch. And this really comes down to real estate development. How does the money get funded into the deal? So first, 2 things could happen. One, F Street, at the end of the day, if we need to put money into the deal to make it happen, we will do that. We have done that before. And hopefully we don't have to do that again because our investors rock and the trust and confidence is very high with them. And they have shown us incredible investments. And our investor base is growing, so there's more people. And but the second option is when we start incurring costs related to the development. So closing on the construction loan, we will have financing related costs. We will have certain fees, the land cost, some of the initial construction mobilization costs. That gets drawn right away. So the $11.3 million of equity gets funded into the deal first.
Yep.
So those initial costs might be $2 or $3 million.
Yep.
So that gets taken from that 11.3 pie, and then we're at, call it $8 million.
Yep.
The next month, maybe $4 million gets drawn.
Yep.
And then we have $4 million of equity left to fund into the deal.
Yep.
So we could theoretically take funds in the end of November or beginning of December. It's never there is a point in time where it does become too late.
Yep.
But it's never too late as an investor to ask, hey, there doesn't happen to be an extra spot in that deal, is there?
Right.
Oh, did I miss my window?
Yeah.
It never hurts to ask and get on a call with us.
Yep.
We're always willing to have that conversation. And there's a lot of moving pieces behind the scene in real estate developments, which is why these projects they're really hard to do as a passive investment as an individual.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to get access to development projects via a sponsor, via a passive investment through a company like F Street.
Yep.
And a lot of these moving pieces, I think sometimes the investors might not fully understand, and we're always willing to have a conversation and say, hey, even though we did technically close on Halloween on 10/31, there might be $100,000 or $200,000 left to invest.
Yep.
So if this is a deal that you thought, hey, I missed out on, and you still want to invest, you still want to get involved,
Yep.
reach out to myself, reach out to Mitch.
Yep.
We are always willing to have another conversation and see if there is room available in the deal.
Yeah. Yeah. And so at the end of the day, we're going to move forward. We're continuing to move forward. We're super excited about this deal. I cannot wait for it to start. We have a groundbreaking that we're doing in November, which is going to be awesome. If you would like to attend that, we did send out an RSVP to all of our investors to be a part of that. If you don't know the date or you want more information, or as Brian said, if you want to learn more, if there is opportunity to invest with us, please do. You can reach me at mitch@fstreet.com, or you can reach Brian, Brian at fstreet.com. We're here to talk. We're here to help educate. We're here to get you into these investments. And again, at the end of the day, we want it to make sense for you. We want you to feel good about your investment. We want you to be able to sleep at night knowing that you're investing with F Street. So Brian, thank you so much for the time, my friend. We got to get it back out here and get more work done today. But anything you want to say before we part out of here?
No, I think we covered a lot of things today, Mitch, and thank you for having me on. There is going to be one, I'm just going to put it as a teaser. We are aiming to have one more industrial acquisition by the end of the year.
Yep.
So stay tuned for that. And we are very excited about F Street 92. Development is probably the most fun part about our job. So get involved today. Reach out to myself. Reach out to Mitch.
Yep. And as you heard it here first, we are trying to get one more industrial deal out to you guys, all of our investors. So again, thank you so much for watching today. We really, really appreciate it. We hope everyone has a great day. And Brian, man, thanks again.
Thank you, Mitch.
Take care, guys. See ya.